Indonesia's health ministry is calling for a return to masking as influenza-like illnesses rise across several provinces, issuing specific warnings for elderly, pregnant women, and those with chronic health conditions. The president has praised the National Nutrition Agency (SIF) for returning over $4.3 billion, or 70 trillion rupiah in unspent funds from the Free Nutritious Meals program, sparking a debate on how that money will be reallocated. A one-year review of the administration's anti-graft report sees roughly $105 million, or 1.7 trillion rupiah in recovered proceeds from the seizures, auctions, and forest area recovery. Two watchdogs are calling for more transparent case-by-case accounting. Good evening. On deck tonight, masks are back and focus as flu-like illnesses climb nationwide. The president applauds a rare budget return of over $4.3 billion from the Free Meals program. And we have 1 year scorecard on recovered corruption money. There's plenty more to unpack. I'm Aisyah Rostolzovita Sitorus, and this is What's Up Today. Jakarta is asking for simple habits to do some heavy lifting once again. With influenza-like illnesses climbing in multiple provinces, the health ministry is recommending masking in crowds and when sick, coupled with a return to basic hygiene. Doctors in the capital say the curve could peak before December if people act to slow transmission now.
The health ministry's latest brief underscores a nationwide uptick in influenza-like illnesses or ILI. It asks Indonesians to put masks back on in crowded settings, on public transport, and whenever they have a cough or fever. Officials point to positivity rates in the 14th week of the year climbing higher than the 13th, a pattern consistent with last year's seasonal trends. They stress that while most people recover within a week, the risk is significantly higher for the elderly, young children, pregnant women, and those with chronic health conditions. Clinicians in Jakarta provide the on-the-ground perspective. Clinics and pharmacies are seeing a steady run on cold and fever medications, which is typical for the pre-mentioned months. The ministry's practical advice remains familiar: rest at home when ill, cover coughs, wash hands frequently, and seek care if red flag symptoms like shortness of breath, a persistent high fever, or confusion appear. Regional WHO updates echo the seasonal rise and the critical need to protect high-risk groups. Officials are also reminding schools and workplaces to revive common sense measures. Keep symptomatic students and staff at home, open windows for ventilation, and clean high-touch surface. Vaccination, where available, remains a vital layer of protection for the vulnerable. Experts say this current wave is tracking within expected bounds, but public behavior is what will ultimately bend the curve. From Jakarta, the media publikasi news team reporting for What's Up Today.
The guidance here is straightforward. If you feel sick, mask up and stay home. Check on older relatives and neighbors with chronic conditions. Schools and offices can cut transmission with simple ventilation and accessible sick leave policies. The more we all to do to slow the spread now, the softer the peak will be. It's a short-term inconvenience for a long-term gain. A week of care now beats a month of lingering cough spreading through the entire household. In a weak address, the president spotlighted what he framed as a rare act of fiscal discipline, the return of over $4.3 billion, or 70 trillion rupiah, in free meal funds that could not be absorbed this year. Applause aside, the real work now is figuring out when and how that money will be channeled to other priority needs.
The remarks come during an address in Bandung on October 18. President Prabowo thanked the National Nutrition Agency chief, Dadan Hindayana, for sending back the massive allocation. calling it something almost never seen in our history. He warned against the old habit of burning budgets in November just to meet spending targets, stating that integrity also means saying not yet when timelines are unrealistic. This was widely reported by national outlets and the state's newswire. Further reporting indicates the government is already discussing where to reallocate the funds. The money will likely be moved to other urgent priorities, such as existing social assistance programs, the expansion of the paid internship schemes, and other stimulus measures. This signals that either case will be used to support near-term growth, while the nutrition agency focuses on safely building out kitchens and logistics for the program's next phase. Policy analysts say two things matter now. First, clarity. The public needs to see a relocation sheet listing which programs will get the money and when. Second, continuity. The free meals program needs a realistic 2026 timeline, complete with supplier audits and safety checks, to ensure next year's budget is absorbed effectively, not just quickly. The president's praise sets the tone, but public trust will hang on transparent numbers. From Bandung, the Media Publikasi news team reporting for WhatsApp Today.
Returning unspent money is responsible, but delivering the program effectively next year is what essentials. We should be watching for a clear table of where this $4.3 billion goes now, and a practical rollout calendar for the meal program that prioritizes safety, not just slogans. It was a rare gesture now launched. The next milestone is a feasible reallocation of those funds and studier program built out that actually fits children. A headline number is making the rounds in Jakarta tonight. Roughly $105 million or 1.7 trillion rupiah has been brought back to the state coffers from the corruption cases in the administration's first year. It's a mix of confiscated cash, auctionary access, and recovered land. Observers say it's useful progress, but the details need to follow the headline.
The figure comes from a new report on the administration's first 12 months, citing recoveries made through law enforcement actions. The report notes 43 cases handled by the Attorney General's Office and anti-graft agencies with wider fiscal savings from the deterrent effect. Analysts, however, remind audiences that asset recovery is an ongoing pipeline, not a one-day windfall. We have seen recent visible example of this. On October 6th, the Attorney General transferred over $89 million or 1.45 trillion rupiah worth of seized assets from the massive PT Timah corruption case back to the state in manner. This included smelters, heavy machinery, tons of refined tin, and land parcels. That move was framed as part of a broader crackdown on illegal mining and graft in the natural resources sector. Those assets, once folded into legal operations, can provide recording value. The key takeaway is twofold. First, asset recovery is more than just cash, it's machines, land and rights that must be valued and repurposed. Second, transparency is the fuel. Watchdogs are calling for a public ledger listing each case, what was seized, where it went, and what it returned to the budget. That is how a headline number becomes a trusted habit. From Jakarta, the Media Publikasi news team reporting for WhatsApp Today.
These numbers matter far less than the proof of where they go. As citizens, we should be able to click on a public dashboard and see the assets move, the cash bank, and the proceeds channeled back into public service. Without that, $105 million is just an applause line. It's a good start, but now the system needs to be locked in. The file recovered from corruption must be tracked, published, and recycled into schools, clinics, and roads, places where people can actually feel it. Still ahead, the fallout from that customs at Akauve saga depends, plus Udayana Fit University moves from tragedy to sanctions, and police in Medan detained 4 of their own officers over a mistaken arrest. We'll be right back.
呀了呀，con kim lúc khăn nó chợ hồi đéo ya, liền mama hòa hí rồi ya, khăn nó chợ.
我甲你讲呀，莫去拄路边，你听到无？
没，我看你今日做工真好哦，啥物物件做你会起来的好啊。
哎呦，姊啊，我咱的生活啊，来日艰苦啊，爱咪本爱拍拼做咯姊。
Mama sedih bu.
Mama sedih, tapi Mama ayong karena Mama kau aliangan.
Lúc họ đi tập một kia, anh ấy gọi thắt chè. Bố sáng cả lúc cụ chắc hoàn cho mấy thắt chè à.
但是爱讲负担第二人，我较好一字啊，咪讲你坐都打看伊啊，咪可以走去回嘅來啊。誒，我怎麼走什麼那姑呀？Adi， Liang啊，mana Liang？ Liang。
Lalu ah.
Coba.
Kami ada kelas presenter dan berita di Manu Project Pro Indonesia. Nah, disinilah suara kalian dilatih dan kepercayaan diri kalian bentuk. Mulai dari breathing sampai Q&R. Orang ini lagi make upan ini weh. Nah, tengoklah hasilnya nanti ya kan. Kalau ini namanya teleprompter. Jadi presenter tuh nanti bacanya dari sini. Ini mic. Orang ini lagi setel-setel mic lah biar ada suaranya. Kalau ini lighting. Jadi muka presenter tuh nggak kalah gelap kali, tersorot dia ya kan, kena lampu. Tengoklah nih di belakang nih. Yang di belakang ini namanya program director. Orang inilah yang ngerekam berita. Kalau nggak ada orang ini, nggak jalan lah berita, nggak ada ya kan.
Oke, standby 3, 2, 1, cue.
Nah, kalian tengoklah mentornya pun kru newsroom profesional, bukan kaleng-kaleng, ya kan Tor? Iya dong. Gimana mentor? Aman? Aman. Oke, lanjut ya Tor.
Ya, ini udah benar belum?
Ini diisi ya di file name-nya, jangan lupa.
Oke.
Ya. Oke, ini udah bisa lanjut.
Nah, ini kalau misalnya lagi gini.
Nah, tiap modul ada project nyata weh. Mulai dari VO berita sampai mock live. Jadi portofolio bu kalian pun terbentuk. Nah, kalian tengoklah ini. Kawan-kawannya pun saling mendukung. Tapi ingat weh, standar newsroom tetap berjalan. Pokoknya weh, memang tempat kami inilah yang mantap untuk mengasah presenter dan anchor skill. Kalian tengoklah weh, cek jadwalnya tuh. Batch terbaru kami, ada yang untuk pemula, sampai yang udah siap untuk siaran. Ayo mari kita lihat siaran kita ini weh. Gimana teman-teman? Aman siaran?
Aman.
Oke, aman-aman. Lanjut ya. Oke.
Jadi deh, ini namanya siaran loopingan. Loopingan itu video yang sudah di-cut. Ini listingnya ada video-video yang sudah di-cut. Nah, di sini di siaran itu, ini ada bagian grafisnya. Ini ada running text.
Gas lah weh, tunggu apa lagi? Daftarkan diri kalian sekarang juga di Manu Project Pro Indonesia. Kami tunggu kedatangan kalian ya weh. Welcome back. We're tracking two major stories on accountability tonight. A sharp rebuke from customs officers and clear sanctions on a university campus in Bali. The message from the finance minister was blunt and public. Citing complaints sent directly to his hotline, he warned that any customs officers photographed belonging in cafes in full uniform while allegedly discussing private deals will face dismissal.
The incidents were raised on Friday when Minister Purbaya Yodisadewa read a public complaint aloud. It alleged that uniformed customs staff were at Starbucks all day, holding meetings that touched on asset businesses, how to secure assets, and new car shipments. Purbaya then tasked his Secretary General, a former customs chief, to follow up immediately. He warned that if the practice continued by Monday, he would personally fire those involved and make life difficult for them. The remarks underscored a simple point: the optics of uniformed officers holding private meetings in the expensive cafe is the wrong signal to send to the public. Further complaints read by the minister criticized strange customs fines and alleged that small shops were being raided while major distributors of illegal cigarettes were left untouched. Purbaya pressed for immediate investigations, saying the hotline would keep collecting cases. This is about more than just coffee. Customs and excise enforcement underwrites a huge part of the national budget. When public trust in the system erodes, so does compliance. The clear next steps would be a written circular on conduct, random audits, and a public dashboard showing action taken on these complaints. From Jakarta, the Media Publikasi News team reporting for WhatsApp Today.
Discipline is half policy, half optics. A sharp warning, a fast investigation, and visible consequences are what tell the public the rules have changed. That WhatsApp hotline is only useful if the follow-up is swift, public, and fair. The warnings have been issued. The real test is whether the Mondays looks different at the cafe and at the checkpoint. That's the interpoint. The backlash on Bali's large campus has moved from outrage to clear-cut decisions. Student organizations at Udayana University have dismissed 6 students by name for mocking a classmate who died after a fall at the festive campus, while the faculty confirmed academic penalties are also in motion.
The sanction list, compiled from official social media posts, is specific. It includes 4 student leaders from the Political Science Association, a member of the Faculty Student Representative Council, and a vice chair from another faculty student board. All received formal dismissal letters from other organizations. This follows the faculty's earlier statement that soft-skill grade deduction would also apply, an educational sanction prompted by viral screenshots. Police have confirmed that timeline of the student's death on October 15th. The reason for the intense public anger was the content of the chats, specifically insensitive comments comparing the victim's body to a content creator. Student leaders say the sanctions are necessary, but they are also demanding a cultural fix, standard training, better mental health access, and a reporting system that actually responds within days, not weeks. The Denpasar police investigation also remains active as they finalize the chronology of the incident. For university campuses everywhere, this is a real-time example of crisis management. The steps are document the incident, publish the sanctions and their basis, and pair that discipline with long-term care. Visibility is part of the remedy. From Denpasar, the Media Publikasi News team reporting for WhatsApp Today.
Discipline without aftercare only solves yesterday's problem. The university must keep its counseling rooms open, train peer responders, and lock in transparent timelines for any future case. Silence in this situation is often read as indifference. These dismissal letters are out. The much harder work is making empathy standard practice, not just a one-week response at the tragedy. Up next, a suspect in custody in that viral Tanah Abang gun attack and the 4 officers involved in the mistaken arrest at Kuala Namu Airport are now facing formal detention. Stay with us.
Saya lang ya. Con kêu nó khăn nó chợ hồi đó ya. Điện mama hòa hí rồi ya. Khăn nó chợ.
ว่ากาลูกกล้องอย่าไม่ขี้ตู้หลอปีลูกแทบเปียกโบ
没我看你今日做工真好哦，虾米物件做你会起来的好啊？
哎呦姐啊，我那个生活啊，垃圾坎坷啊，爱买本爱拍片做咯姐。
Mama sedih Bu.
Mama sedih, tapi Mama ayong karena Mama kaliangan.
Lúc khỏi đi tập học kia, anh ấy gọi thắt chè. Bố sáng cả lúc cụ chắc hoàn cho mấy thắt chè à.
Si ai con cụ trai tại thời gian, quá khá hôi chứ gì à. Mai con này trẻ cụ tá hoa ý à. Mai hỏi sau khi hủy kè rồi á. Ê, cụ chẳng mà trong sama anak ku ya.
Adi,
Liang ah, mana Liang? Liang.
Wah, siang lalu ah.
Coba.
Wih, kami ada kelas presenter dan berita di Manu Project Pro Indonesia. Nah, disinilah suara kalian dilatih dan kepercayaan diri kalian bentuk. Mulai dari breathing sampai Q&R. Orang ini lagi make upan ini weh. Nah, tengoklah hasilnya nanti ya kan. Kalau ini namanya teleprompter. Jadi presenter tuh nanti bacanya dari sini. Ini mic. Orang ini lagi setel mic lah biar ada suaranya. Kalau ini lighting. Jadi muka presenter tuh nggak kalah gelap kali, tersorot dia ya kan, kena lampu. Tengoklah nih di belakang nih. Yang di belakang ini namanya program director. Orang inilah yang ngerekam berita. Kalau nggak ada orang ini, nggak jalan lah berita, nggak ada ya kan.
Oke, standby 3, 2, 1, cue.
Nah, kalian tengoklah mentornya pun kudu newsroom profesional, bukan kaleng-kaleng, ya kan Tor? Iya dong. Gimana mentor? Aman? Aman. Oke, lanjut ya Tor. Oke.
Ya, ini udah benar belum?
Ini diisi ya di file name-nya, jangan lupa.
Oke.
Ya. Oke, ini udah bisa lanjut.
Pak ini kalau saya lagi gini.
Nah, tiap modul ada proyek nyata weh. Mulai dari VO berita sampai mock live. Jadi portofolio bu kalian pun terbentuk. Nah, kalian tengoklah ini. Kawan-kawannya pun saling mendukung. Tapi ingat weh, standar newsroom tetap berjalan. Pokoknya weh, memang tempat kami inilah yang mantap untuk mengasah presenter dan anchor skill. Kalian tengoklah weh, cek jadwalnya tuh. Batch terbaru kami, ada yang untuk pemula, sampai yang udah siap untuk siaran. Ayo mari kita lihat siaran kita ini weh. Gimana teman-teman? Aman siaran? Aman. Oke, aman-aman. Lanjut ya. Oke.
Jadi deh, ini namanya siaran loopingan. Loopingan itu video yang sudah di-cut. Ini listingnya ada video-video yang sudah di-cut. Nah, di sini di siaran itu, ini ada bagian grafisnya. Ini ada running text.
Gas lah weh, tunggu apa lagi? Daftarkan diri kalian sekarang juga di Manu Project Pro Indonesia. Kami tunggu kedatangan kalian ya weh. Welcome back. We're rounding out the broadcast with story on public safety and police accountability. This week, Jakarta hosts the WHO's Global Network for Herbal Medicine Regulators. The agenda was technical, focusing on safety, efficacy, and quality standards, but the subtext was momentum. Indonesia wants its traditional herbal industry to scale up backed by modern science.
The 16th annual WHO Earth meeting gathered 22 member countries from October 14 to 16, with Indonesia's own BPOM acting as host. The sessions focused on aligning quality frameworks, controlling contaminants, and standardizing levels. At the same time, the World Health Summit also highlighted the growing importance of traditional medicine. Local business media added the industry angle. Reports noted that during site visits, WHO officials expressed appreciation for PT Bintang 7's commitment to research-based, modern herbal development. This aligns with a broader push by Indonesian firms to position their products with real biomolecular research, not just folk claims. For consumers, this matters. The health shelf is crowded and the best filter is evidence plus registration. This meeting was a push to raise the bar for the entire industry. It's important to note this appreciation is for the commitment to research. It is not an endorsement of a specific product. The goal is to move the whole industry toward innovation that is backed by proof. From Jakarta, the Media Publikasi News Team reporting for WhatsApp Today.
When you are buying herbal remedies, the advice is simple. Look out for the official BPOM registration number and clear dosing instructions. Natural is not free fast. Regulated and tested is always the safe learner. In the end, innovation with proof will always beat hype with hashtags. That is how local brands can build trust and success globally. That viral CCTV footage from a coffee stall in Kampung Bali now has name attached to it. Investigators say they have caught Mr., the suspected shooter from the Tanah Abang gang attack, the days after the incident. They recovered an airsoft gun and are now hunting the remaining suspect.
Police arrested the suspect, MF, at a house in North Jakarta on October 13th. The attack itself happened in the early hours of October 8, when a group stormed the shop. The victims were hit by airsoft pellets in the shoulder, temple, and chest. The attackers also stole about $140 or 2.3 million from the register. MF is now facing robbery with violence charges, which carry a maximum sentence of 12 years. Initial reports had mentioned a larger group of assailants, some with plates. Authorities have now urged shop owners in the area to share their camera footage promptly to help identify the rest of the group. A small but vital detail. Police confirmed the gun was an airsoft model, but at close range, it was still powerful enough to penetrate the victim's skin. For residents in central Jakarta, this is a reminder about routine safety. Police ask that bystander never confront armed groups, but instead focus on getting description, license plates, and escape routes to help the investigation. From central Jakarta, the Media Publikasi News Team reporting for WhatsApp Today.
A clear video clip can make or break a case. If you own a shop with CCTV, it's a good habit to back up your footage to the cloud or even just a separate hard drive every single night. It can save investigators hours of work when every minute matters. One suspect is in custody, but more are still out there. This arrest sends a message. Don't let the next crew think the city isn't watching. That fire case of mistaken identity at Kuala Lumpur Airport now has serious consequences. North Sumatra Police confirmed that 4 personnel from Medan's criminal unit have been placed in special detentions, while Internal Affairs investigate how they end up pulling a political party leader from a plane.
Internal Affairs is now examining the 4 investigators. Their initial justification that they were checking if the Iskandar on their suspect list for online fraud was the same person on the plane. Collapsed one's IDs were actually cross-checked, but by then, they had already pulled Iskandar ST, the provincial Nasdem chair, off the aircraft in front of other passengers, an act the party called deeply humiliating. By Saturday evening, the North Sumatra Police Chief himself, Inspector General Wisnu Hermawan, publicly apologized and confirmed that 4 officers were in special placement. Known as Patsus, disciplinary sanctions are now pending. The process matters beyond this one case. Mistaken arrests destroy public trust and expose officers to legal action. Basic guardrails, like matching IDs with 2 independent factors, are designated to prevent exactly this. This is a clear failure of basic verification. Internal controls might seem dull, but when they fail, the consequences are immediate and severe. From Medan, the Media Publikasi News team reporting for WhatsApp Today.
Accountability is only real if the outcome is visible. The public needs to see the finding, the rule that was breached, and the sanction that was applied. More importantly, they need to see the revised checklist that officers will be required to use from now on. An apologize opens the door, but fixing the checklist is what keeps it from happening again. And that was wraps our Sunday. We covered public health reminders on Max, a rare multi-billion-dollar budget return, and a 1-year recovery ledgers on Grab, and a sharp calls for discipline from customs to the campus. If this broadcast helped you stay oriented, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update. From all of us here, good night and stay well.